The stuff you commented on in the chat, Roy.
Was that today?
Yeah, you said like an UG to it or something.
Oh, we're
Hey,
live. Oh,
Shizzy.
what's up, gentlemen? Sorry we're late, ladies and gentlemen. I had some conflict, and then we had some technical issues, but we are here now live. So we'll figure all that out after, because I'm not still not sure what we're talking about. But anyway, unless it was from the other day, and then anyway, we'll talk about it later. Hey, Shizzy. Hey, Euphoric. We are here. Thank you for joining us. What's going on, Joe?
Oh man, just living the dream, right? No, I just been I get a demo on that AI system today later on. So I'll have
Cool.
more to talk about that. And there was something released by X7 that I haven't dug through yet, but evidently their developers talk to each other on chain. So you can see everything there too,
Nice.
which I guess is pretty cool. I haven't dug through it yet, but it looks like good stuff. Other than that, markets look a little, crabby today. Everybody's waiting on that inflation print tomorrow and how that'll affect the Fed, i.e., 50 bips or 25 bips. So, yesterday was
Yeah,
a good
just
day,
hanging out
but
where it
now we're
was,
just,
I guess.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So, how about
Good.
you? What's going on with
Continuity
you?
pattern. Had an awesome interview with a project called IPOR Protocol, credit swap, interest rate swap derivatives going after that $450 trillion debt market in TradFi world,
Nice.
with some really cool governance models built into their system for their token. The DAO governance structure is really cool. The tokenomics are pretty innovative. And this platform looks cool. The guys have been around since 2011. When Mt. Gox was around, they built and ran the number two exchange behind Mt. Gox. Went through a bunch of stuff, but this project looks pretty top notch. Team of about 18 people, a bunch of quants from the TradFi space, and it's just a really looks like a really powerful opportunity and platform. Anyway, it was a great interview. That'll hit next week. I am so far behind on interviews right now to get them out. There'll be one hitting tomorrow, and probably one hitting Friday, and then Monday, and then Wednesday, and then Friday, because I've got a queue of about five to get out. So apologies to all of you folks that I interviewed that haven't had your episode hit yet, but thankfully none of them were too timely in terms of the discussion. So, um, wow, what else is going on? I got a bunch of shit loaded up. You got anything you want to talk about?
Um, why don't you just load up? Let's let it rip, and I'm sure a bunch of shit will come into my mind at that point.
This is iPour. Like I said, pretty cool product, pretty cool platform. They do have a retail interface or a UI interface, but their primary model is to offer their debt trading tools for protocols and TradFi to integrate with. But the average person will be able to take part in these markets. So it's pretty cool,
Hmm.
pretty powerful team. Anyway, everybody can take a look at that. Let's
I
see what else we
pour.
have.
Okay.
iPor, IPOR.io, IPOR.io.
Hmm. That one might come back to haunt him. I
Yeah,
pour.
yeah. I think they wanted to sound like
iPod. I. Oh.
Libor, and
Oh.
that's what
Okay.
they were going for with it. And he was like, "Yeah, it's memeable." I said, "Yeah, it's definitely memeable. That's for
Throw
fucking
another
sure."
zero. Throw another zero in there. Right. I pour. I guess it'd be an O, but
Anyway,
zero fits as well.
I'll also put in a show notes. They're taking on a tackling from a tokenomics perspective, kind of all the problems that exist currently with liquidity mining, enhancing and making better kind of the locked model with Curve and other providers that are copying it. There's a really good article I'll put in the show notes as well for this and for the episode next week. That really goes into what they're doing. I'm so far I'm really impressed. I haven't taken a deep dive on this protocol, but I'm really impressed with what they've gone. Anybody that was helping out with the protocol over the last, they've been live for 5 months. They've been in development for a year and a half or so, 2 years. Anybody that's been involved or done anything with the protocol over the last time frame is also going to get some airdrop goodies coming. I don't know if you can still participate and then get that, but that is coming from them as well. So anyway, good team, good stuff. I was very interested in it. Started getting a feel for TWAM. I have no idea why. I went down a fucking rabbit hole, but I didn't really quite understand what it was all about. Got a better understanding of basically it's a protocol for trading for whales, so they can divide up their giant trades into much smaller pieces, so it doesn't impact market price. Pretty cool concept. I'm going to talk about that more next week. UK is committing to becoming the global crypto hub despite the FTX collapse. I guess now every mainstream article written about crypto is going to be a despite or because of FTX collapse article. So, Shizzy says he's staking a little USD on IPOR. Excited to watch it. Well, hopefully, because you are staking, you will get some of the drops of the IPOR token. So that'll be cool. They have a really cool tailored model for participation and governance. They're fully preparing to hand off most of the functionality of the system to the DAO. And anyway, good stuff. So yeah, Shizzy, I'm excited to see where they go too. UK still beating the crypto drum. I hope they continue with that. I think that's a good opportunity for any country that has enough sense to actually.
I've got my Crypto London shirt on today.
That's awesome, dude. Where did you get that?
No, I had it long before Crypto London, but I just had by coincidence had it on at the same time.
That's hilarious.
Look, we talk about Crypto London a lot. I think it's such a natural. I mean, they got to fill the goose eggs for the Russian money, but they are really the biggest. And I'm not saying this in a negative light. Offshore banking center in the world. It's just done in plain sight. So, and it comes historically from the British, if I'm not mistaken, didn't have global taxation until recently. So, that's why you see a lot of these structures around London and other places because. You could go make money in another country and you don't have to pay taxes to the crown for it. It was, untaxed basically. So there were ways that money would move in and out of London, financial markets, in, private ways. So they get it. And if crypto's there, this is with the regulations like we talk about, you got one regulator that you have to win over. You don't have to win over 13 agencies here, I think. Exactly. We just talk about CFTC and SEC, but there's a whole host of other ones in there at the state and, federal level that carry a lot of weight. So it makes sense. If you're there, do it. If not, you might want to consider moving there to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good place to be. Look, I think they're going to secure a lot of innovation and finance into the UK because of it. It's a smart.
Well, it's a great offshore location for euros. For the EU countries. Yep. So it's close.
Yep. On the other hand, we have Hong Kong trying to be a crypto hub. And frankly, I can't imagine anybody actually trying to build anything in Hong Kong right now because you just don't know what the Chinese government's going to do, right? You invest any kind of significant sums there. It's just like what's happening with Chinese markets because of corporate takeovers and the things they're doing. People are scared to do business there. Well, I would be just as nervous to be in Hong Kong. Now, the funny thing is I tweeted that and said, Jack Niblet says Jack Ma knows what the CCP will do. Your company is not your company if you're operating in inside of anywhere that China has control. But the interesting thing was I tweeted that basic sentiment. And Mark Jeffrey replied and said, well, you could make the same argument about the United States in terms of crypto that you don't know what the hell's going to happen and the risk is very high from a regulatory perspective. And that's not an unfair point, right? It's much worse, I think, in Hong Kong/China in terms of the government control of that. But we could very well, see bans, shutdowns, whatever from a regulatory perspective. I don't think it'll happen, but it's a possibility. And And so, he made a really good point that,
Well,
and we often talk about the fact that the lack of clarity here is driving people away. The founder of IPOR is a United States citizen. He lives in Milan, Italy. He has no interest in building anything within the borders of the United States related to crypto.
Well, he shouldn't. It's not like he's a saint or anything. But the thing is that with Hong Kong, what you got to remember is that it's not just the legal system is trash at this point. I mean, it's been completely corrupted by the mainland Chinese. So you will never win in any type of thing. At least, in the U.S., if you are successful and then you're fighting your way through regulatory BS, you can do it, and you don't have to worry about, for the most part, unless you're doing something really bad, filling into the anti-terrorism kind of stuff or funding it or whatever. They really aren't going to, come in and throw you in a gulag and then make you prove your way out. I mean, you have to have really kind of done something.
They're not going to come in and take your entire fucking company away from you like they did to Ma, right? They're not going to that you don't have to worry about here. And that's a valid point. I think he was more talking towards the regulatory risk uncertainty. And I think that's a fair argument to be made in the United States. But you're right. You got a much better fighting chance here. And you can actually lobby and work for change to regulatory structures here. Whereas there, that's a fucking black box.
Yeah, and also let's remember, this isn't the Hong Kong of 3 years ago. And, I was always I loved going to Hong Kong. It is a fun, I don't know, I haven't been there in 10 years, but a fun place. And it's, it's anything goes business. There's very little red tape, or there was very little red tape. And all these guys in Hong Kong, all their businesses were incorporated in like the British Virgin Islands, the Caymans. We were doing some structures between BVI and Barbados and Hong Kong for these wholly foreign-owned companies, woofies. And, they have it so engineered where you could save like 0.2% on the stamp tax if you run it through Barbados. They're hugely convoluted structures. But it's right there on the reception area when you walk into the office of, Hong Kong tycoon number whatever. On the back, it says the name of the company, and it says the Cayman Islands Corporation. So, they didn't even hide anything. It was just wide open commerce. I don't know what it's like now. I would suspect that, the mainland authorities probably, on the one hand are frowning upon that because, they relied on Hong Kong, but then when Shanghai came up to speed, they moved all the finance from Hong Kong to Shanghai to make Shanghai the financial capital. So they have been kind of bleeding Hong Kong out over that. But it's a fabulous city. I mean, if you can figure out how to make it work, you can have a lot of fun there. But,
absolutely.
I don't know what's, it's got to be different now.
Totally.
With all the revolts and stuff or protests that were going on over the last couple of years and getting stomped down, and, China kind of taking a very firm control of what's going on. But hopefully, commerce wins out.
Yeah, Niblet says China 2017 national intel law makes all individuals and companies foreign or domestic agents of the government. It's illegal to not comply with an intelligence request. It's scary.
It's true.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, from an investment perspective, from a building perspective, this guy, this Hong Kong finance regulator, I don't know his name. Anyway, he's got a brutal job because Christopher Hugh, how are you convincing anybody to put any kind of money into Hong Kong right now? Because you don't know if you can get it out, and it's just but the other thing is that you really have to get the right Chinese consultants on the team if that's what you're going to do. And there are going to be people that are politically connected. I mean, what we used to do. Now, again, this is 15 years ago. This is when everybody thought China was going one way, but it kind of didn't. And so what you would do is you would find out, when people were pitching deals, you would always vet those people. And I would do that with, big corporations in U.S. Western corporations in China. And you just ask, hey, you'd ask the Chinese dudes, who is this guy? What's his family all about? And they're like, oh yeah, his great grandfather was on the Long March. He's connected. You want to get that guy on your team. So, because what that means is it reaches all the way to the top, because you had to be on the Long March, or somebody in your family had to be on a Long March back in 47, 8 time frame or whenever that was.
because those are the groups that became the Politburo and all the political leadership. And so they trace it all the way back to those folk. And you want those guys in because there's no rules. It always becomes a big scrum when there's a big pile of money to divvy up. And you want to make sure your guys are at the top, your advisors are at the top of that heap. I mean, that's good logic for any country. I mean, I would do the same thing in, UAE, Saudi, any of those places, or India, wherever you have governments that can influence things, you got to get them on your side or you're not going to win.
Well, Dubai Free Zone is now home to more than 500 crypto startups. Dedicated hub for local crypto entrepreneurs attracted twice as many digital asset startups last year than in 2021.
Another great a great location for business. I don't know if I like the climate and all of that, and that whole realm. But look, they are open for crypto business, and I think it's super easy to get passports and residence permits and things like that. Doesn't get you out of any home country obligations, so don't think that people are just going to forget about it. But it does give you an extra passport that you can use for, it'll be in your name too. I'm not saying these are in other names. This is, everybody knows it's you. And you can use those to open bank accounts and stuff like that in countries where, if you walk in with an American passport, you're not going to be able to.
Right. No, absolutely. No, but
if you get what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Ultimately they are, they're doing the right thing.
Partnered
tax
with
breaks, incentives, et cetera, to get people to come there. Basically sandbox for crypto, encouraging it.
Did you see that Hong Kong partnership down in that last paragraph?
No.
They're partnering. Yeah. Yeah. No, Niblets. I'd agree. Well, last paragraph.
Hong Kong headquartered venture capital firm Brink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would offer so
I would expect that what's happening, Brink has to, has their Hong Kong compliance. So when you talk about the guy you had up a couple slides ago, Wei or HUI, whatever his name was, I would suspect that he's somehow there. And so this looks interesting because it makes me think that, Dubai, UAE is always trying to chart an independent course. Everybody thinks that, they're trying to chart it from the Americans or the Brits, but they're really trying to, Saudis kind of rule all those countries too, to put it bluntly. And, they have to defer to the Saudis. So, in a lot of ways, they're kind of trying to get all their own connections up to speed. A lot of Russians are in there too, right now, both refugees, if you want to call them that, and business dudes. And, there are Chinese there. And there's Hong Kong people and there's Americans and there's Brits. And so it's actually a pretty interesting place too. But, watch your P's and Q's. Don't get drunk in public and watch what you wear and be sensitive to local culture. Because there's nobody coming to bail your ass out if you get busted for, getting too drunk at a happy hour.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming.
If you sign up to be there, then you have to sign up to understand that you're going to have to abide by what the customs and rules and laws are in that country. I mean, that's just the bottom line, and if you can't do that, don't go there because you don't get to scream about, the freedoms you should have or the freedoms you're supposed to have. So,
anyway. And also, watch, don't get in trouble like, what was it? Brittany Griner got in trouble with the carts and the luggage or something. These are zero tolerance countries. Singapore,
don't be an idiot.
Hong Kong, Dubai. Do not, go in. It's a different culture. I mean, in Singapore, I think you get executed pretty much, zero tolerance. They have it on all the visa forms. So, watch that too, because I know people think that everything's legal everywhere. It's not. No. So be careful on that front.
Yep. Niblet said Hong Kong is a bit more fun than Dubai, or at least it was. Shizzy says Snoop Dogg said Dubai is the one place he won't go. Laughing out loud, I wonder why. Yeah, because he can't go 20 minutes without smoking.
Yeah. Hard for a lib to not be chauvinist.
Hard for a lib to not be chauvinist. I don't know. I'm sorry, man. I don't know what you mean. Or woman, excuse me. Don't want to be chauvinist. Not sure what you mean. Could you explain? We'd love to comment. Thank you. The Winklevi are going off again.
I saw that letter today. I'm like, it's like they're just begging for, oh, can't we please settle this without going to court? I mean, that's the last paragraph of his letter. And it's sort of like, it just makes you look weak, dude. I mean, and plus you just gave all your customers ammo to sue you for lack of proper due diligence. I mean, you just documented all your mistakes.
I mean, it's not like you didn't have an example of being too stupid to being too stupid to keep their mouth shut, right? I mean, you just watched SBF fuck everything up for himself. I don't understand this. Work behind the scenes, get this shit done. I think it's posturing from a marketing perspective. That's what he's trying to do, to keep his customers happy and not leaving him and thinking he's full of shit. But it's like, you're right, Joe. At the end of the day, they're going to say, you didn't do the diligence and keep track of my money. And I'm the one that put my money in through you. My money went from Gemini into that. Doesn't matter what agreements I signed and clicked through to. The bottom line is, you introduced me. You were an agent to this offering. And so you're the one that should have made sure this was safe. I trusted you, right? That I did. I'm not in it, but you know, that's the idea. So anyway.
Look at Eamon's comments.
What? Please, sir, can I have a little money? Winkleberry.
When airdrop.
He's begging, please give me some fucking money. Yeah.
But I don't see, you know, with his dad's connections and can you hear me still? I think I tipped my headphone.
You're good
now.
No? You're good now.
Okay. Yeah, with his dad's connections and, you know, all that background, I mean, we know these guys got rich from, you know, basically shaking down Zuck, as much as I dislike that guy too. But, you know, you would think they'd have enough connections in there to raise some money. I'd be quietly in London trying to raise money right now to shore up Gemini. Or I'd be over in the, you know, GCC region trying to raise money to shore up my company, Gemini, if I was Cameron or brother. I wouldn't be putting out these lame-ass, whiny, bitch-sounding letters. I think it's just weak. And, you know,
totally weak.
Yeah, so, but, you know, I wish them the best.
You up to more liability. It's just stupid. It's just stupid, dude. And now what are you going to do? Now you've thrown down your last card. So, I mean, your last card is to sue, right? Well, you know, that would have probably been the first step. Just file the lawsuit or have the attorneys hash this shit out. Like we always say, let them do what they do. That's the guys that know how to do that shit. Stop fucking around. So,
yeah.
Coinbase laying off another 20%. So 950 people, amid the market downturn. I'm always amazed at how ill-prepared people are for downturns in the economy. It's
yeah. I mean, look, this is more, I mean, if you're an internal employee there, I think you pretty much can probably see, it's a public company too. You don't have to be an employee, but you could see the drop off in like trading fee revenue and in revenue there and customers and everything. So you should have already had your resume or the word out that you were looking to jump.
They're just waiting around for the severance package.
Yeah. Which, you know, kind of like, it's too bad it's not closer to summer, but, you know, I used to love those severance packages right around, you know, May, June, when then you got a nice summer break and you go hang out in the Greek islands or something like that, living off your severance.
I did that with Interliant. I think I got like 9 months out of them. It was it was really hard to motivate after 9 months, but you know, I did it. But,
well, mine was when the fund went under, or when I left the fund, let's put it that way. You know, I had a severance deal there too, which was paying me a big chunk. Like 9 months out, I got nothing for the first 9. As long as I behaved, then I would get this big lump sum in 9 months. So I left the country and traveled around the world for like 9 months. And so I always knew I had that chunk of money when I got back.
Nice.
But, you know,
see, that's nice.
You know,
that's actually better.
It was good. But, you know, let me tell you, you can't trust people, because when it came back, it turned into a big, you know, fighting over that money. And, you know, I had to just put the hammer down, you know, in, hey, man, people are calling me asking about what you guys were doing. I haven't returned the calls yet. So, like, I had the money in my account in 2 hours, you know. So you don't threaten people. You're just like, come on, man, we had a deal. And I got people calling me now asking about you two guys.
That's very funny. You know? That's hilarious. It reminds me of a story. in the 96-ish, 97-ish time frame, my wife at the time and I built a website for a famous female pop star based here in Miami. And it was her fan
I
club
might know who
routine.
that is.
And they are, my wife at the time was half Cuban and half Spaniard. And when they heard that we were working with this person, the family members on the Cuban side said, you really need to make sure you're going to figure out how you get paid, because they are legendary for not paying. And so launched it. It was on her new album, and millions of people were going to the site, and it was pretty innovative at the time. And I went to collect sizable sums of money that were owed to me, and they ghosted me, right? So the next message I sent was, listen, you should be aware of something. I know you don't understand how this web stuff works yet, but your domain is registered in my name. And and so those millions of record albums that are out there selling in people's hands, driving people into your website, I'd hate for that to go away. And suddenly I had a meeting on the island and money handed over. So, anyway.
Well, the other cool thing then is you can, sell them the domain name.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't extract more. I took what I was owed, we agreed to, and handed it over. I wanted nothing else to do with them at that point.
Yeah. Because you could go, and for being a dick, we're going to sell you this domain name too. No, I used to do that on the stuff that we would structure in Hong Kong, because, I wasn't trusting anybody there either. And so, I found the lawyers I had the lawyers on both sides of the transactions, that I had brought to the deal, and I knew the people, personally. So the way the contracts were structured was that, when the money flowed in from the US folk, the hedgies or whatever, that money couldn't go into China before I got paid. I was the very first payment in the stack. And so the lawyers were all there enforcing it, because I was also paying the lawyers. Right. So it was a wink, wink, nod, nod stuff. We never had any kind of conspiracy or anything, but it was more of that, you know how people are going to behave when they're looking at a list and it says you get paid first, and then you're the one who's ultimately going to approve their bill. What do you think they do?
Exactly.
They make sure you're happy, but they make sure everybody's happy too. I mean, everybody got their money. It's just I wasn't going to get put in a position where the money moved into China and then I was begging to get paid.
Yep.
And then having to get it back out of China. So, always structure these things in the way where you have some control at least.
Shizzy asks, does Coinbase think the bear market continues another year? That's what I got from this. Look, I think there's two things that happen in these scenarios. First of all, you start examining where you hired and you think projects aren't going to go very far, or it was what you can perceive now as wasteful hiring, things that aren't as revenue driving hires for your company. And so you're like, well, fuck it. While we're in this mess, I might as well keep cutting. It gives you an opportunity to look good to the market, especially when you're a publicly traded company, right? They want to know that you can still operate, still function, still have customers happy, still drive revenue, but at the same time, you're being like really fiscally responsible and cutting everything you can. So if this thing lasts for a year, 2 years, 5 years, you're in a good position to make it, right? So I think it's posturing. I think it's an opportunity to cut more because they have a good excuse for it they've already taken the hit from it from a stock perspective, right? So they don't have to worry about kind of taking a hit from doing this again. It's just like after a while, everybody in the bear market just kind of goes, oh yeah, no more layoffs. It's like, it's not even that big a fucking story. So,
yeah, I would also say, just to add to your points, Brad, that, when these public companies have to report numbers every 90 days. And right now what's going on, since that stock, I don't know where it's at. Was it in the single digits or something? There's a lot of people that bought high up, lots of institutional players, and a couple of them will be on the board, and then others will be just direct. And they're going to be in there pounding Brian Armstrong and his team to cut costs. Okay, the revenue's not growing. Well, you got to start, cutting some people and, getting your margins back and trying to get cash flow positive, so that when it does recover, then we all go on a nice rocket ride. Because you don't want to carry a bunch of legacy dead weight. I know these are actual workers and there are real costs to them, but from a enterprise perspective, if it's not generating revenue, you cut it. So
Well, they're up.
I mean, I feel sorry.
5.38% since the announcement.
Yeah.
Sitting at $40. Since the 6th, they're up from $31.95 to $40.36. Look, these are the kinds of moves people want to see in the market right now.
Yeah. Look, if the revenue's not growing, you got to work the cost side.
Right.
So, I mean, not like what Elon's doing, but I think this is probably a good move.
Yeah.
Sorry for the workers, though.
Yeah, of course, it sucks, but look, they're going to get nice, juicy severance packages, and these are all people with skills that are still in demand in places in this world. And so, while there are people laying off, there are also people hiring. There are new products launching, getting funding, etc.
Also, one other thing before you jump to the next topic. Also, I would suspect that their employment agreements, for their option positions, probably all vest immediately too at severance or right at the end of it, because usually there's a clause of acceleration if you're not fired for cause or there's a change of control. So this would clearly not be for cause. So they'll be in good shape.
Yep. Niblets asks, can you guys speculate on the double-digit pumps the past couple of days? Are there fundamentals at work, just pendulum swings, or are we getting fooled by randomness, as Talib says? Well, I mean, look, the TA guys say we should expected this kind of last grass pump before the big dump. And that's kind of what I hear from folks. So, it's just kind of the cycle of things. Joe, you were talking on yesterday about, look, everybody's kind of wait and see what happens this week with the announcements. And so people are kind of hoping for the soft landing news to be real and all of that. I can't speculate beyond that, why this is happening.
Yeah, I don't see anything fundamental there that makes it happen. I mean, I think it's just I think what's going on is that everybody's speculating on if it's a 50, we're at what, 4.25 right now. The Fed has openly said they're going to 5.25. So there's another 100 bips in there for raise. I mean, I like 6 myself for historical purposes. I don't know if you get there. But, the speculation's all on what the Fed does next, 50 bips or 25 bips. So if the inflation print comes in good, then all the odds shift to 25 bips. And so I think that's where you get people are like, remember on equities in particular, that interest rate it affects the cost of capital or the discount rate, and it's in the denominator. So it has an outsized effect, and that means valuation. So when the street starts saying, oh, wait, maybe it's 20, I'm betting it's 25, then all the valuation models kick in and they're like, oh, okay, Coinbase isn't worth $43. It's really worth 47 in that scenario. So they all start taking positions. So that might be causing rally up. As to crypto, I think that's more of just a cascade from that underlying premise on risk on or risk off. That's just my guess. I don't know.
Jerome Sherpow was talking tough this morning at 9. All right. Well, I guess
he's just trying to beat. Yeah, he's trying to beat down the Wall Street speculators. I mean, they've been trying to. I mean, they're doing like the wink, wink, nod, nod, hint, hint, hint. The shit's going up. So they've been saying this forever. You get it, Shizzy. I get it. Brad gets it. Most people get it that are not. The high-flying investment banker or hedgie in New York. Did I break up there? So
no, you're good.
I think he's really just trying to take the wind out of the sails of the hedgies at Wall Street. Like stop effing with me. Stop trading against this, or we're going to break you.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's a really good point because this is the last thing. The last thing they need are these pumps, right? I mean, that's so. Yeah. Right. We talk about Peter Zeihan a couple of times on the show. And I listened to, Joe Rogan put out a new interview with him over the weekend. And a friend of mine pointed me to it. So I went to listen to him. It was really coherent shit, his normal kind of smart geopolitical economic stuff and some really cool insights. And then Joe asked him about crypto. And it kind of shattered all my confidence in Peter's other analysis because it was such a shallow Bitcoin's going to less than zero, negative. It's all Ponzi. It was the kind of just like I haven't taken a look at any of this. I just go by the speculative knowledge I have from other people and the shit they complain about it. And I was thoroughly disappointed that there wasn't like a little bit more depth and understanding to his point of view. So anyway, the Bitcoin community's up in arms about Peter Zeihan this week.
Yeah, I saw a ton of that on Twitter over the last couple of days. And I wasn't quite picking up on it because I don't really know who he is that well. I see his name around. I mean, I know who Joe Rogan is, obviously, but I don't know all these like. Go ahead.
Yeah, he just provides he's provided, we've actually I think I ran a clip of him at one point on the show, but I mean, he's got really what seemed to be smart, strong insights into China, strong insights into.
Oh, him. Yeah.
Yeah. And
he's the geopolitics guy, right?
Exactly.
He's the geopolitics. Yeah, got it. Yeah. Okay.
And so, but what made me stop and think was, well, if he's taking such a fucking headline level view of Bitcoin, how much of his other fucking analysis is that too, right? Especially on the economic side. It was so shallow and because I've built up a large amount of respect for him reading and his stuff. I get his newsletters every day and read those and his YouTube videos. I've really been impressed with how well he calls things. And then to hear him be so, and it wasn't my disgust wasn't from a perspective of bias, although I know I have a bias. But it was more from the perspective of just how shallow his analysis was. It was like he obviously only sees this as a speculative token that's traded on exchanges, has no idea what underlying functionality is there, how it functions, what it does, what it can do, and has no idea.
Does he know it's proof of work? Does he know it's proof of work?
It's hard to know from how surface level the shit was. I mean, it was so, I was so disappointed. I said that to my friends in this chat discussion I'm in on Twitter. I just was like, I really don't get, I'm really concerned about now all of his other analysis, because if he hasn't taken a deep enough dive on this, he should have said, I don't know enough, right? Instead of, trying to sound like an expert on it. So that's why I was disappointed. Anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of, we tend to rely on people's opinions when they have like track records that have played out. And, then we give them credit for, having unique insights. And then sometimes they get on and try to talk about what they don't know about. And someone, if someone's like you's listening, or Sean, or, any of us for that matter, and you come off with this simplistic description of Bitcoin that is out of date at best, then it's going to color everything they say about it, but about crypto or Bitcoin. But then it's going to come back, like you said, to, well, when he says China doing this, where did all that come from? That insight,
right.
It's like,
right.
And how is he reasoning it out? I suspect he's probably still really good on the geopolitics stuff because that's his domain expertise area. And he was trying to like know Bitcoin better, but it's easier to be surface on geopolitics because nobody really understands it because nobody's talking to people. But when you come into a Bitcoin community and try to be surface layer on Bitcoin, you're just going to get shredded.
Yeah.
If you come in making bold pronouncements. I mean, exactly. I think the way, I'm always someone who wants to learn more. So I'm not afraid to be wrong or express maybe what some might consider a naive question. Because I want to know the answer. And I suspect if I'm asking it, there's at least a few other people out that want to know that answer, and maybe another double that already know the answer, but it just gets the community caught up to speed. So I'm not afraid of that, but I don't sit there trying to, basically come in and out Bitcoin Sean, let's say. It's
right,
like,
of course.
It's just not going to happen. You're stupid if you do that.
No, exactly.
So,
yeah. Anyway,
I hope he delves deeper. Send him some stuff. Get him on the show.
Yeah, there you go. Let me see. Is this important? I don't remember. Oh, the former FTX US president who resigned abruptly in September, 18 months on the job, says he's going to spill dirt on everything that happened at FTX and hinted that he's actually cooperating with the federales. So,
Yeah, well, they all probably are cooperating. I mean, I see how this, to me, I think this is how this is going to end again.
Yep.
Is
Yep.
it,
I agree.
it's going to stall out for 2 to 3 years. Then SBF's going to do a plea and he's going to get credit for time served under house arrest at his mom's house. And then he maybe gets a small minimum security thing, if anything, and a huge fine. And it's going to be game over for him at that point. I mean, skate time. But I think everybody else they've already pled guilty. Caroline, the other Wang, I think. I mean, Trabuco's also talking to the feds, I think I heard somewhere. And this guy obviously is, these guys are trying to stay out of jail now. This Brett guy, number one, because you were there, dude. So you left, but, what'd you do while you were there? Oh,
yeah.
One wallet to wallet transfer of bad money is considered wire fraud. And you see people get 20 years for that in this country for one case, so, I think these guys, are all running for cover at this point. I'm not saying they're good people or bad people. I'm just saying it's amazing to me that all these people that had access to billions of dollars just really thought they were not going to get caught or didn't make plans to defend themselves properly.
Exactly. Get all the stacks of evidence you need before you leave. Maybe he did. And then negotiate immunity, dude. I mean, you hold the cards. What's amazing to me is that so far we haven't seen anyone with immunity. Everyone's pled guilty, like you said, to something. And that to me is incredible. So, anyway,
so, I mean, like, look at Caroline. Look at Caroline. So I'm not going to pick on her. She's one of the many there. But look, she goes in, I think, starts talking to the feds and pleads guilty. And now she's rolling on everybody. Well, what lawyer negotiated that deal?
Of course.
Because you would not be going in and pleading guilty. You'd be going in as a cooperating witness in hope of, as much as I give you, then I can cut my own deal. But you don't plead guilty out of the gate. Right. I mean, come on, that's amateur hour. That is amateur hour. So
yeah, it's so disappointing. The attorneys these people are hiring. It's like, what the hell? I don't get it. I think they just felt like the heat was so strong that they had to. And I'm like, you know what? You didn't have to do anything. You shouldn't. And you should have slowed your
they'll make you feel that way. I mean, that's the playbook. That's what they want you to do is do this. And I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just saying you got to know what you can and can't do. And, they're going to threaten you with arrest and things like that. And you're just like, arrest me then, arrest me,
go ahead.
And then, but, we're cutting a deal. I'll sit in jail until we cut the deal. I don't care.
Exactly.
Because you lose all control when you plead guilty. So, but you got to also make sure you got the money to pay the lawyers. Now, these guys had plenty of money sloshing around and they were obviously looting the till. It looks like pretty heavy. So, they should have been, stashing money for lawyers. And I don't mean shitty podunk lawyers, pardon my French. I mean like connected lawyers. Because they go get the deal done. They're like, oh, she fucked up, man. She's really sorry about it. She'll give all the money, but, mom's dying and blah, blah, blah. She's a good kid. Can we cut her some slack? And, usually people don't want to throw people in jail like that. Because she has plenty of arguments. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And by the way, she may have much more information than you currently have about what's going on. I mean, that's the leverage. Shizzy asked if they all take deals, Caroline, Sam, Wong, who are they flipping on? No, everybody's flipping on Sam. There's no, this idea that Gary Gensler is going to get somehow in trouble for this is I think next to slim to nothing opportunity.
Yeah. I would think more about, I'm sorry, go ahead, Brad.
But they're flipping on Sam. Caroline, Wong, Harrison, their goal is to get Sam. But ultimately, what Joe was talking about earlier is that Sam is going to make a deal too. At the end of the day, the prosecutors don't want to have to go to court. They don't want to have to try it because if you've got the firepower with the attorneys and you've got there was that long article the other day talking about the fact that Sam has been setting himself up for a capacity defense. Essentially is setting himself up to say, look, ADHD, depression, ADD, autism,
drugs,
massive medication. I did not know the decisions I was making. I did not know what I was doing. And that's been a very successful defense in the past. And financial transactions are complex enough in financial trials, but cryptocurrency financial transactions, you're going to have a fuck of a time finding a jury that can keep up. And all it takes is a really fucking good, passionate attorney to confuse the shit out of you on purpose and make sure the jury comes back not guilty or mistrial or whatever. And that's the last thing the prosecutor wants. So the prosecutor's going to make a deal. He's just making deals with Caroline and Wong and Harrison and everybody else in order to stack the deck for the deal with Sam, right? To be able to say, look, if I go to trial, I've got this, and this. So you are going to do some jail time or you are going to do this and that. End of the day, I think everybody is going to have, I doubt very seriously there will be a trial for anybody. So,
yeah, because you got to think, I mean, Sam knows when you read this stuff and say the stuff that like Cameron's talking about in that open letter with DCG and the other players and the FTX collapse and all of that. Well, if they were so interwoven, I mean, God, he's got dirt on everybody at this point because he knows the transfers. And he knew who did what. And I'm not talking about government guys. No, I'm talking about all these other, from, the Terra guys, the 3AC guys. I don't think he probably knows much about Celsius, but, he definitely knows about DCG. He knows about Gemini. He knows about all those things and everything else. So that's his deal to be had. And if there was any money going to government guys for favorable treatment, or, money going into PACs from a centralized control person. If that was foreign money, that's against the rules. But basically, whoever was running that and distributing donations to government, that would be someone the government want to know about, too. Sure. He's got study. If he has it on Gensler and those guys, which I don't really think he does, he's holding that close to the vest, or his lawyers are. And he'll use that or whatever to get out. So I think, again, no trials, winds out. I mean, there was something out yesterday where, supposedly out of the Southern District in New York saying this is turning into this giant octopus investigation that's going to require more resources than we have, which I kind of think is FUD from, his attorneys to basically get that out there. Why are we spending all this money on this? Let's cut a deal. Because that's what they do. They weave through and break down everything. I think that tells you that they are angling for some kind of thing to support Brad's points that is not going to trial.
Back on the Zeihan thing, Niblett said, amazing how often you can see pundits being wrong when they comment on topics you know something about. Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Let me see if I have anything. Oh, this was really cool. Yearn Protocol has, Yearn Finance has made it so that now anyone can completely permissionlessly and without any interaction with the protocol create their own vaults on Yearn. So they're all Curve based factory vaults, I believe, but you can theoretically come in here, choose vaults, connect your wallet, choose vaults, set it all up completely. They cut their performance commission down to 10%. So you can actually come in here and create your own yield vault. Now, unfortunately, you don't get any of the 10%, but it's still nice to have the ability to do this. This then opens the door for other potential uses with the permissionlessness and the composability of it to be utilized on other platforms and protocols more than it already is, because now they can have a mechanism for creating vaults within their protocol that may feed into another type of yield. So I was impressed with this. I'm excited to see that they're doing this. I think it's really
so. These are single token vaults, or are these? No, these are
they're
pairs.
They're all different combination vaults. Like this one's Gear ETH, Wi-Fi, right. Curve ETH, CVX ETH. But the idea is you can create your. Yeah, the idea is you can create your own. Right, you can you can actually be a Yearn strategist without the old process was if you wanted to create a strategy for Yearn, you had to put it in front of the DAO for a vote. You had to do all the analysis, blah, 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 set it all up, get it ready, have to get it approved, then wait for it to get deployed, blah, blah, blah. Now you can create a vault, deploy it, and go, and you don't have to ask anybody's permission.
So well, these are auto compounding too. So how does it, I mean, are people swapping within these vaults? I don't really get where the yield comes from.
The yield is from lending protocols, for the most part, from what I understand about how Yearn functions. So, but I would have to dive deeper into each of these potential curve pools to understand how they work within the spectrum of vault. So,
yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I like it though. I mean, look, curve's been up from 52 to I think 65 cents today, right around there. So in the last couple of days, so that's made a nice run. And I was trying to figure out why. Because I always like curve.
That release yesterday. It's a smart move by them. Really is a smart move. It helped out 64.9. So good to see. Niblet says maybe tomorrow we can talk about trading up and coming tokens with little on the left of the chart that can be traded for free profit and airdrops. Said I think we need a little fun. Yeah, we can take a look at some of those.
Let's do it.
A little traipsing through DeFi Llama and elsewhere to see what's new, what's exciting, what's coming out. No problem.
And also,
some time over the last couple of days going through the raises stuff on DeFi Llama, and there's some really interesting stuff in there in terms of what the big VC firms are investing in and what's priority, et cetera. So,
well, in Niblets and everyone else, bring your tips too with you tomorrow.
Yeah,
we'll look stuff and let's crowdsource this a bit.
And I tell you what, anybody that has an idea for a token to be talked about, send it over to Joe or me in Telegram or DMs on Twitter, and we'll send you an invite to come on and talk about it. It'd be a lot easier than you and me trying to decipher it, Joe. Let's have them. Niblets, you have some ideas? Shizzy, Euphoric, anybody else has a token or project you're interested in that has a little short time frame on history? We'd love to have you guys come on and actually chat about it. Join the show. Niblets, I'm just a barnacle on the ship and financial intel. Okay, man. Well, find a token. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, but the fact, like you said, Brad, that I know we're getting ready to close out, but that everybody's seeing different data feeds. So if you see something like that I haven't seen, I would be curious to know about it. The new stuff that you like. I mean, there's a lot on Arbitrum. There's a lot of new stuff floating around. Phantom, Polygon. So let's kind of dig in and figure out what we can find. I know we all have our favorites, or the ones that we're kind of tracking. I got a couple of those too. So, I'll bring those to the table. And everybody else, if you have something, fine. If not, no pressure.
Hey, all you Coinbase folks getting laid off, BNB Chain just posted a new job board for jobs within their DeFi ecosystem. 142 openings right now amongst 52 projects. So
what do we got there?
Maybe there's something.
These are for the projects.
These are for projects on BNB Chain. So DeFi product marketing manager at Venus Protocol, financial controller at Woo Network, finance operations manager at Everest Ventures Group. There's like 6 jobs from them. UI UX designer, front end developer, operations lead, technical lead, marketing intern, marketing content writer. I mean, seriously, whatever skill set you have, there's a job out there in crypto for you if you want to get in and start working in the crypto space. So God knows if they pay well. I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of variety available positions open. So check it out.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Good idea, dude.
Yeah, a couple of other things, but we'll talk about them tomorrow or the next day. I took a deeper dive into Layer Zero. We could talk about that some more, trying to understand it better. The guys at Blockmates did a great explainer. There's a new Oracle's platform called Dia, or it may not be new, but it's the first time I've heard about it. Actually pretty impressive. It's on 30 plus blockchains. Looks like they have a good amount of data already available in the chain, in the Oracles. So we can talk about that in the future here. And I think that's all I had for today anyway, Joe. I think we're good on time and wrap it up. Shizzy said, I'm excited for that IPOR video. I've been staking since early December. I was hoping to be in the airdrop. Any idea of the cutoff, Brad? He did not give me any definitive concepts on when the cutoff for that was. He said that they were, I may be even like, I think they're going to announce it tomorrow. Shh, don't tell anybody I told you guys.
Oh, wait, what is this? Where's this? IPOR?
This is the IPOR airdrop.
Quickly. Let me get into their Telegram channel.
I think
Brad talking shit about you guys. There's a leak,
tomorrow,
boys.
so don't go asking them questions until after they announce it tomorrow, Shizzy.
Okay, anyway, I4. What's the token?
IPOR.io. I don't know. I don't even know if the token's out yet. I think that's coming with the airdrop.
All right, I better jump in and do something.
Be quiet. Don't ask him any questions about the airdrop. Don't ask him about the airdrop yet. I think I.
What airdrop?
Early on that. Oh, there is no.
What airdrop?
You pour, I pour. Okay, that's it, Joe. I'm out.
All right, buddy. Have a good day, man. Thanks, everyone.
Shizzy, Niblets, Euphoric, Renora, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you guys contributing and being part of the conversation. Thank you for listening and watching. If you're watching on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, look, take 2 minutes. Go rate and review us, please. Subscribe. Make sure you get updated when we get the latest stuff. YouTube, the same goes. Click that thumbs up for us if you could.
Smash it.
Click the little bell. Smash that thumbs up for us. Joe likes when I say smash it. I drilled to my finger last night.
Ouch.
And
still working on your safe cracking skills?
Give us ratings and reviews. Tell all your friends and family about us. We will be passing out free candy canes to everybody that shills us.
Yeah. Hey, if you got a Ledger X that's not working, if you send it to Brad, he knows how to drill them open. You just got to give him the seed phrase too.
And that's it. Speaking of which, I had a project send me a brand new digital wallet that they wanted to review. Yeah, it's pretty fancy actually. And they also sent me a steel plated wallet where you put the private key numbers on and then stuck it in a safe deposit box. Anyway, so as soon as I get some time this weekend, I'm going to try to play with that a little bit, see how it is. So
nice. That's cool. Yeah, maybe we'll do like a we'll like do a crowd-funded due diligence. What do we used to call those? Dog pile, we used to call them,
Yeah.
Where everybody's dog piling on someone.
Everybody can send money to that address for that wallet, and then I'll let them know if it worked well or not.
There you go. You're going to give everybody your seed phrase so they can do that properly?
No. Just the wallet address. Shizzy said, speaking of layer 0, stake some STG just in case. All right, man. We'll do it. Yeah,
wait. Tell me, what does that mean? What does that mean? Hold on. Layer 0.
I assume he means stake some STG just in case there's an airdrop for layer 0, which is the endpoint cross-chain system.
Okay, cool.
I was talking about yesterday and a little bit earlier.
Yeah, sorry. There's just so much going in; it doesn't all stay.
Joe, I'm going to send you a link to the Blockmates article that describes the layer 0 stuff. It's actually pretty cool.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man.
So, all right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow. Be safe. Be smart. See you, Brad.